Hello and welcome to Pest Perspectives episode 36. I've gone early, 9 minutes early, which is a first. Last week I had two podcasts on. People think I'm crazy. I do that many podcasts, but I'm on episode 36 now. Pest Perspectives is a podcast in the pest control industry to try and entertain and educate, and you can get CPD credits in the UK. For listening to the podcast, you can with British Pest Register. Basis prompt for the older episodes. You say, if you listen to older episodes, give me a DM, and there's 6 codes I can give you for older episodes. It's a bit different with that system. And BPCA self-register, CPD diary. You just tell them which podcast it was and what you learned, and you can get your points. So yeah, that's pretty much what Pest Perspectives is. We've been going since January. I say we, it was just, I do it by myself. As I said, we, sounds better. And this week we have on Marcus Scruggs. Is that how you say it? Marcus Scruggs. Is that right?
It is, yes. Scruggs, yes.
That's it. And he hosts the
License to Kill podcast.
That's it. License to Kill podcast. Another pest control podcast you should check out. I just had it up there, and I was like, it disappeared for a second. And you've been in the pest control industry for 10 years.
10 years now. Yes.
So, how are you doing? I can see you in your vehicle, your car.
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's the weather finally kind of took a turn for us. We have, I'm in South Houston, Texas area, so it is always hot 9-10 months out of the year. But we had a little bit of a dip this week. It's finally getting down into the 50s and 60s at night, and only the 80s during the day. I know that's not; those are in Fahrenheit units, so I'm not sure you it's Celsius. But it's typically significantly hotter than that. So it's been nice.
Oh, 10 degrees at night then. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That would be a lot cooler. Yeah. We use Celsius and use Fahrenheit. I always have to convert it. I do.
Yeah, well, I love a good across the pond, conversions. It's always interesting talking to people from other areas of the world and really starting to learn how you guys do pest control, how you approach it, and you were talking about the credits and stuff, how y'all's regulatory system works. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not like yours as such. We do have to do CPD points, but everyone moans about getting the points, but you can get the points pretty easy. You can read magazines and do quizzes. You can listen to podcasts. You can go to courses in person, pest shows, and you've got if you use rodenticide now as of next year, you've got to do 3 hour. Well, you got to get your free crew points. It's basically teaches you how to use rodenticide safely, but there's 3 parts to it. And that's what you've got to do to buy and use rodenticide next year. So all the courses are free, they're online, so it's not too difficult. But I always find it easy. I'm nearly probably about 70 points for this year. I am. So not too bad. But so, how did you start in pest control? Did you come out of school knowing pest control was a job? Was it a thing you knew about, or did you fall into it like everyone else does?
No, it was. I don't want to say I aspired to do pest control. I can make it sound like that, but my brother was a pest control technician when I was growing up. And so when I was about 12 years old, he got himself an apartment not too far that I could ride my bicycle to. And I remember him having his own place and a take-home truck. He had a new GameCube, which was like the hot thing at the time. And I remember thinking like, oh, okay, he was going somewhere. He was doing something that was pretty interesting, and I liked the job. And then later down the line, as I got to high school, my household had a few run-ins with pest control incidences. So we had bed bugs at one point. And we ended up with fleas at another point. And so having someone come in and treat, it really helped restore our home. that was kind of the thing, right? It was that like our household, it was just on edge. There was so much tension. My mom was kind of a bit of an insomniac person, and so the pest issues were causing her to lose even more sleep, and it just caused mental deterioration rapidly. And it just like I said, there was a lot of friction in the household. And when people came in and they did the treatment, it was I was curious about it. I was interested about what was happening and kind of the science behind it, but also it was effective. It really did work. And
Good.
so I followed around the salesperson that came out to do our house for the bed bugs.
Yeah.
And we just kind of hit it off. And I was like 16 at the time, so he was like, "Hey, when you turn 18, give me a call, and I'll help to find you a way to get a job working for the Big T." And so, because that's the company that came out and serviced our home. And so it was a great experience. I used it as a way to kind of pay for my college in cash when I first got out of high school. So I got out of high school and didn't have to take on any debt. That allowed me to immediately have an apartment and then rent a house with some friends. And then shortly after that, at 20 years old, I bought a house. And so pest control really offered me a lot of economic stability in those early years. And I remember when I first went out on my training ride with our top sales termite person, and they they were kind of trying to encourage, and they disclosed their commission check for me for that month, or for them for that month. And obviously, as my 18-year-old mind was just I'd never seen an actual living wage paycheck like that. So it was awesome, and I was sold, and just started diving into as much I could learn about the active ingredients. Started like just pulling up Google Scholar articles and just reading everything I could. And it just allowed me to take on a lot of additional challenges at the company that I work for. Allowed me to start taking on some extra kind of stops that other technicians were either not learned in, or just didn't have that knowledge base yet. And then later on, I was able to get into food handling and food manufacturing. So a lot of audited stuff, a lot of documentation, and it just became an actual real career. Like it really did roadmap out into something that was quite nice.
So are you still with the same company, the big green tea?
No, I'm working with Cypress Creek Pest Control. Yeah, that's the people that these are the guys that had me. I only spent a couple months at Terminex, and that was in a sales role capacity. And to be honest with you, I think I was a little too young and a little bit too, baby faced and bright eyed, bushy tailed. But I had a good mentor, a friend of mine, said, like, get out in the field, go do the work, go perform the work, learn about it, learn about the pests, and that's going to be way better off for you than trying to learn how to do sales. It just wasn't. I mean, that's how it worked out for me. So I went to the field, and loved it.
That's really good. And also, Adam Holt's saying hello. Hello, Adam. Thanks for popping in.
What's up, Adam?
So
love that guy.
So obviously, what kind of level? You mentioned you like to learn a lot, and you keep learning. So, in what are you just a normal technician, or are you? Or are you like a field biologist? Because you mentioned you do audited food sites as well. So what level are you at in the scale?
I'm nothing special about me. Just a regular out in the field kind of technician. That's the capacity. But I am in the
There's nothing
commercial
wrong with that.
Company. No, not at all. It's like I said. And so I focus mostly on the commercial side of our company's operations, and then I'm one of the only techs that we have that is fully trained in like FDA and AIB auditing and all the third-party auditing. There's a bunch of different companies, they audit each other as far as like the big name brands and stuff. And so those are a lot of the companies that I do my routine service for now. So it's all large food handling, manufacturing stuff.
Okay,
Houston's got a lot of places.
I know. So when you do food plate auditing places, are you talking about places where, sorry, you do the pest control, not the auditing? Do you audit them, or you just do the pest control there?
Just do the pest control, yeah. So these facilities, we kind of hold their hand and help them prepare themselves for routine audits that come through. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we make sure they're in compliance at all times. Because sometimes it can be surprise inspections, and in a general facility we'll have 8 plus audits a year sometimes. It can be even more than that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's like with these sites, do they take you like half a day or a day? Some of these massive areas to cover. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I was fortunate enough to actually service my church, which is not an audited level facility, but I do go to a very, very large church. And I was there for 4.5 hours today. So, it's pretty common for me to have, only a hand. There are some days where it's super busy. I got, 18 tickets. I'm all over the whole city, touching all 4 corners. It's a very, very large city. So a lot of people don't understand the square mileage of it, but there are also other days where I'm doing 1, maybe 2 stops through the whole day, just massive 1.1 million square foot food handling facilities, distribution, shipping, the whole 900 plus scan stations, and 300 exterior bait stations, and the whole 9. Yeah, exactly. So stuff that really, it takes a long while to have to break it into chunks and move the vehicle around and all that.
You can tell by that reaction, I've never done a big site before. I've never done anything on that. I've tried to get places like that, but never been successful in getting it yet. But because obviously I'm just not I am a technician, but obviously I am owner operator with my dad as well. So just me and my dad. But I've never actually. I do want to get somewhere like that eventually, but So do you have to check, obviously you check your bait points and your monitoring points. Do you have to do that trend analysis to see what flies are in the trays? And you do that too, yes.
Oh yeah. They want quarterly reports, thick, 300-400 pages thick of bar graphs and all kinds of stuff. It's just a ton of data on what insect activity they're getting or what rodent activity they're getting, and what we're doing to combat that. And a lot of times too, it's really kind of doing like predictive stuff. So it's looking at what's been trending, what's the weather that we're having the last 6 weeks, what's the weather we're going to have in the next 6 weeks, and then trying to do something to mitigate what your challenges are going to be, because we get a lot of seasonal pests, like a lot of bugs that you can kind of say, okay, earlier, spring, this stuff is going to come out, and the hotter temperatures, the 100+ degree weather, you're going to deal with like rover ants and June bugs and stuff, stuff like that. Yeah.
So when you said 300 or 400 pages, I'll ask this question: are you paper or are you digital for these, or is it a mixture? Or is it all?
So it's all digital. It's all digital. It's just a ton of different reports. Yeah, reports after reports. All that's a nice thing about these digital systems is they can look at the data in a bunch of different ways. So you can So it's paper, but only for these more important one-off meetings that happen. Or at audit time, stuff like that.
I've heard a few.
There are logbooks that have to be maintained as well.
Okay, just trying to compare it, because obviously I've spoke to a couple of people who do in the UK audit, and that they're like they've been in Europe and all sorts, and one of them said that a lot of food manufacturers in the UK or in places he's not been to, I don't think he's done it in America, but he said they don't really like digital, because he said what happens is they rather paper. Because there's so much to do with the fact that if they can't log in and get all the paperwork, it causes a problem. And I spoke to someone else on the other side that says all the sites he's checked are all digital and it's all fine. So it seems like the jury's out on what you could use for food auditing. So
it really has to be a hybrid of both, right?
Yeah.
These facilities, their systems or their sites are so large, right, that the only way to effectively track it, monitor it, contain all the data, and then even have something usable to do with the data, right, something you can even interpret, has to come in a digital format. But these logbooks have to stay up to date, regularly, weekly, in order to make sure that they're prepared for any kind of pop-in. And like you said, you as the pest control provider are not always on site when that audit's happening.
Yeah.
So you need to have that data readily accessible to them. So a lot of it does come in the form of print for record keeping, but that stuff is the absolute important stuff, as far as like, your licensing, your, IPM protocols, your, sign-in pages, pest citing pages, all of that kind of, documentation, and then followed up with all your trend reports. And that stuff can be bulkier, and you do what you can to, maybe trim that down and keep what's, the actual important stuff. And then when you have those larger meetings, you can pull the bulk of the data. And that's what those big companies are wanting. They're wanting you to be able to pull up the last 3 months and have all of that readily accessible to them, but they do want it in a physical form.
Oh, okay. Oh, say, okay. So it sounds, I can't imagine having to do hundreds of pages of paperwork. I can't for one site, but I imagine you're used to it by now, aren't you? So
it's not so bad. It's, I'm there weekly, sometimes twice a week at these types of places. Okay. And when it's a quarterly thing, it's once every, 12 treatments or whatever, or like 16, it's, you're there all the time. I mean, it feels like they're my coworkers almost as much as my actual coworkers.
Okay. So they must be fairly large contracts then if you're there, twice, nearly every week or every other week. You must be fairly large sites. So to warrant that, there must
some
be.
Of them. Yeah, some of them. Yeah, absolutely. They take it serious, and that's a good thing. A lot of people tend to kind of knock on, the various different things that the FDA allows or what, what's in your food or whatever. But the truth is, a lot of these companies work really hard to keep a safe food chain and, keep a pest-free distribution system. And it can be hard. I mean, obviously the world's big and there's a lot of pests out there. But in a general sense, every company that you can think of that's major, especially in the U.S. that's operating, we're so litigious as we are. Everybody just kind of sues everybody for any kind of like wrongdoing. Not to say that that's a big thing in the food world, but it's just a thing in America that, everybody does their due diligence. I mean, people really work hard to make sure that these large facilities are not overrun with pests. So,
well, to be fair, it's what they pay you for. It's they always say that your real work's in the paperwork. That's what they say. The saying's probably better than I just said it. I've heard a different saying. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I've heard Sean Mooney on the Beauties and Beasties say it, but I just can't think of what he says. I can't.
I love those guys.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I got a chance to go on the podcast with them. They were a lot of fun. And it was a very insightful talk.
What did you think to Sean? With the bollocks
I like
the way this went.
Yeah, no. He's good. He's a good balance. Yeah. Alex is nice and kind of blend together,
Yeah. A lot of them like going on there. Like Andrew Sineski loves going on with them. He loves the way Sean talks, actually. He does. A lot of Americans can't get over it. They couldn't get over it. When I first heard Andrew say bollocks, he was like, bollocks. It was funny because it's not a word they use in the even a swear word. It's quite common in the UK. Bollocks, what load of bollocks, things like that. But when he first heard it, he says, what are you saying? It's when you hear him first here, what are you saying? Bollocks. Yeah, bollocks. He couldn't get over it. There's a lot of different sayings.
I had the privilege of talking to him on the phone yesterday. He's a really good guy. Andrew.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Andrew's a really
fantastic
good
person.
guy. He is
Yeah,
very
him and
knowledgeable.
Gabe.
Gabe, and what this is for you? Come on the podcast. I know you're busy, but he's the one man I can't seem to nail down to get on the podcast. But he's not been on the Beauties and Beasties either. They've tried to get him on.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He just kind of focuses, but he's got so much on his plate, though.
He has.
So
he's growing that company like no tomorrow. He is. Yeah. He's a workhorse, big time. But no,
huge inspiration.
No, he's good. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but I'll send him a message. I will later. See how he's doing. But I know he's a busy man. He wants to be a $1 million revenue company, doesn't he? That's his first goal.
He does. He's actually he's one of our huge and first sponsors for LTK. I mean, he really believes in the vision. He kind of plays a more quieter background type presence. He's not an extremely forward person like that, but he really believed in what we were trying to do and really believed in the community and the values. And he was one of the first people to convince me to, like, hey, really try to do something with it and do more than just a goofy video game club and stuff. So no, I have a huge amount of respect for him, and he's a huge inspiration. I congratulate him on his journey to 1 million. I think his social media journey is one that people should be tuning into. So if you're not familiar with Gabe Seymour, folks, check him out. He over there with Pest Patrol over in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
They're phenomenal folks. Yeah.
Well, seeing as you mentioned it, let's talk about it. So if everyone didn't know, to be fair, I've got to get a different account and rejoin it and play, because you've got. Do you want to explain your whole community you've made for people within pest control? Because it's a lot of it helps with mental health, doesn't it? That's a part of it. Even though you probably don't mention it as such that way, it still helps, doesn't it?
Oh, so, okay. It's a little intimately personal. I don't want to divulge too much, but I actually was getting messages last night from a member of our community who's been in for quite a while, who was kind of wanting to take a step up presence. And he was just saying how much the community meant to him, that it had, really changed a huge thing for him in his life, and really been a rock for him. The brotherly camaraderie that he has with some of those folks really carried him through during some tough times, and financially and otherwise. And he was just saying how much he wanted to share that with other people, wanted other people to experience the community in that same light. So it's actually been incredible. Like I said, it started off at first just video gamers who play pest control, kind of hooking up in the evening time, playing some games. Hanging out on the phone call during the daytime because we're in our trucks, and so we don't get a lot of chance to have water cooler talk or enjoy our coworkers and stuff. And it's really turned into something a lot more than that. And these guys really have each other's back, and they're cross educating each other, and they're supporting each other, lifting each other up. And they're there for each other's well-being. They're really checking into each person's mental well-being. And so it's served an incredibly good and deep and meaningful purpose for a lot of folks. And I hadn't quite seen that coming, but seeing the fruits of it just encourages me that much more to just keep driving ahead, keep really trying to have a platform that brings people together. So that's kind of what, that's what the LTK mission is about. It's kind of the brief statement is just, making agents in the field, or making LTK agents the best in the field. And that means helping them out and supporting them however which way. And we even did a lighthearted thing a couple months back. Several of the members in our community were having babies. And so we made a little LTK baby graphic that was like cute for onesies and stuff. Nice, and we sent out onesies to all of the guys and their family members, who were having children, as just a way of saying like, hey, congratulations, we support you, it's a big, huge step for, just giving people a little bit of recognition and acknowledgement for that milestone in their life. So it's really little stuff like that come together.
It's really nice. Yeah. It is. Because obviously you've got your podcast, which is Licensed to Kill, but you've expanded on it further. You've got a gaming community connected to it on Discord, which is an app I do struggle with. I do. It's quite. So I used to use Discord. I used to do I used to run a show called Midweek Gaming. I stopped that and I started one called A Gaming Conversation with Friends. And in the end, I used Discord. But what you've got to understand is when I moved to doing podcasts, the kind of guests I'm getting on, I can't expect them to just make a Discord account. So that's why I've got this, because anyone can use it. But Discord, when you've got it set up right with OBS and everything, is very good. But it's certain people I don't think I'd convince to sign up to Discord. Say one day if I got that, the lady from Rent-A-Kill, I don't think she's going to make a Discord just to come on the show. A lot of people, I don't think they will. Yeah,
you're 100% correct. And funny enough, that's kind of one of my litmus tests for when I, ask my guests to come on. I ask them to create an account and join into the Discord, partially because I just want them to see what it's all about, and actually experience a little bit of what's in there. But you're right. It's not the. It is built for internet savvy people. It's built for people who are built on the internet, right, or raised on the internet. It's definitely for the next generation. Right.
I mean, I can use it. It's just.
Yeah.
I've struggled.
But it's very attractive to the younger folks. It really is. It's like, I would say that me and some of my, friends who are maybe a couple years older than me are kind of at the, the edge of, the older regular daily user base. Anybody older than, I don't know, probably 45 or something, probably doesn't check it on a daily basis or isn't like a regular daily active user. But as you get closer down to that, 18 to 26 mark, I mean, these guys, that's how they get around. That's how they talk. That's where their social life is at. It's not really on Facebook. It's not on, definitely not on LinkedIn, right? It's not on a lot of these kinds of platforms. Now it is, I'm reaching into those spaces because there's a good audience there, and there's also that's where the credible people in the industry are at, right? That's where the people who have good career, I don't want to say like good careers, but they're people who are established, right? And those are the people who are tied into them. So I try to have a bit of a positive bridge there by connecting people who are a part of the NPMA and a part of kind of the official traditional trade organizations, and bleeding that information over to the folks in LTK where the younger eyes are at and may not be tuning into the, the more traditional spaces. I know that a lot of the local trade organizations and the national trade organizations, they've struggled with the youngest demographic, that 18 to 30 crowd, to actually get signed up and get registered. And, those spaces seem to be mostly spaces for business owners or maybe like sales reps or something like that. They're not really utilized by the everyday technician. And so I've got bots that we can use that scrape those websites, the MPMA and other websites that pull their events and pull their articles and stuff, and they post it in the Discord. So that way the guys who are the younger crowd, the gamers, maybe the ones who, quite aren't seeking out that information, it's brought to them. Right. And so because the Discord is around pest control, people have a general interest in it. And then it provides a resource for, pest identification or, tips and tricks on how to, resolve an issue at a specific site or, all kinds of stuff. I mean, really, it's funny because you said earlier that we took the podcast and built it out, but it was actually the other way around. We took the community and we're building that out. And as people got in, the need for something like a podcast started to arise. So we actually started the podcast 4 months after we started the Discord group.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's the nice thing about having the Discord space is I can build it out however we want to. That means we can adapt to the needs and requests of people and, of the community as a whole. So that's how we ended up with, the job board and a bunch of other, really cool little tiny features that help out with, people who have pest issues or, are running around.
Yeah, I mean, when my missus was making the thumbnail, you seen the picture you sent with the what are they called? You had a competition painting little figures. Games Workshop Warhammer. She said that looks cool. She said,
yes.
I think that was in person. Was it in person or did you take a photograph? Or it was in person?
Yeah, no. Nicest got behind that, and it was incredible. We have a really awesome game shop here that has like a tavern and a bunch of floor space and everything. And we just wrangled all of our. We've got a pretty good foothold in the Houston market because this is where I'm at. This is where my friends are at. We, try and wrangle in other pest control friends we know, whether they're at other companies or just on the other side of town. And so we had a really good showing for that one. I'd probably say about 30 people showed up
nice.
to paint and do Warhammer, and it was incredible. Yeah, it was a whole day. Prizes were given out, and we had a painting competition, and then we also had a kill team competition. So, which both of those I performed very well at.
Do you paint them as well?
Yeah.
Are you into?
Yeah.
Now, you have got patience. I would struggle with a little bit. So I'm like, I struggle with things like that a little, but they look so cool. If I could learn to be more patient, I could probably do it. They look
well.
Great.
They got these ones that push together now, so you don't have to glue them and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you get it. The trick is it's not about part of it is patience. But it's also about having the right tool. If you can get a really, really tiny paintbrush, that's like 1, maybe 3 bristles. You can really get into some very tiny detail stuff. So that's a lot of fun.
I might look at it because I have got the Warhammers. I need to complete it still. I have got Warhammer Space Marine 2, and that I was liking it. I stopped playing it, but I need to get back into it. And a load of people thought I was a Warhammer fan when I put it on LinkedIn. I just thought the game was cool. Because it was actually it's like a shooter, but it's not a shooter. That is what Gears of War should have been. I think that would have made Gears of War a lot better. That would have.
So it's been around. So okay, in all fairness, I am new to the hobby. Okay, I'm a nerd advocate for all kinds of nerd activities, video games or whatever, right? I enjoy all the cons and all that stuff.
Well, video games is in the mainstream. I think when I was growing up, it was a nerdy thing, but it is mainstream now. Well, I wouldn't say it's nerdy anymore, but maybe.
No, yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that was the thing that some of the guys in LTK helped to. Introduce me. We're all shooting around and talking. Hey, what's good, what's fun, what's who does this, who does that. Next thing you know, several people in the chat, voiced off that they actually are into Warhammer. We realized, bam, right there, we had a whole crew of people. So we were able to connect people from across the city, and some of them drove as far as like an hour and a half away. And then we even had one guy fly in from Las Vegas. Gotta love him. So I mean, yes. Well, come on, we were having a blast. It's a tournament, right?
Exactly.
Hopefully, the next one we'll try and make it an annual thing. The next one will be even bigger.
Flying in. That's commitment. That is, but it's really good what you're doing because I think it helps pest control community because, as you say, the average majority of pest controllers are out there on their own. It's like I speak to loads of people in the UK on WhatsApp that I haven't actually met in person. I am meeting a lot of them though in November at Pest Tech, MPTA's Pest Tech that I'm helping organise. A lot of them are coming. I'm going to say hello in person because I've not actually met a lot of them. But it is a lonely place, and your community helps that, especially with. I didn't know about the chat that you can just drop in when you're on the road. I didn't know about that. So you can talk to more people. So that's a better way of making friends and helping people not be so lonely as such. I know it sounds gimmicky, but it is a lonely industry. It is.
Yeah. Okay, so the field shenanigans is what that chat is called.
Okay.
Is by far the most it's not the core part of the advertisement in some sense or explanation for it, but most of the activity actually happens there. Most people are congregated in the field shenanigans on route. the Bluetooth in their ear, driving from one stop to another, whatever. And that's where most everything happens. And so oftentimes even the actual text channels will seem quiet, but it's not because there's no activity in the community. It's because all the activity is happening, via voice chat, and everyone's just laughing, cracking, and making a bunch of jokes, and helping each other get through the day. So I highly encourage, if you jump in, check out the field shenanigans, and you'll get a real understanding of what it's all about.
I'll make an account because I got rid of it, or did I? I need to log back in. I can't remember because I had to make one for my son. You see, because he plays these VR games, and a lot of them want you to go in their server to get. He doesn't ever comment in them. He just joins them. Well, I obviously monitor it all. I do, but he say join this Discord and you'll get this skin. So he does. So that's what caused the confusion. I had to make one for him, and then I got to try and log back into mine. I'll sort it and join it and see what it's all about, because I didn't really see what it was about really, but he probably does explain it. There are a lot of people in voice. I didn't notice though, people in voice chat, and I thought it's daytime now. What are they doing? They're doing a podcast. I didn't know. I didn't know.
Nope,
that,
just a bunch of other technicians, fellow folks, and pest controllers out there, just having somebody else to talk to, hang out with on the phone. It's like one big group line. That's where the brotherhood kind of starts to build. That's where the camaraderie starts to really solidify itself. So it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really good what you've done. So I imagine that. Are you just in your role now? Are you solely commercial? Is that all you do? Is that only commercial? So you don't go out and do wasp nests? Nothing like that.
So I work a full residential route every third Saturday. So I do a little bit of that's just kind of a rule of our company. Most of the we're not forced to work every Saturday or anything like that, but we do rotate on a Saturday basis. It's every third week for us. And so I do work residentials on those days. Maybe the occasional commercial stop on that day, like a daycare, that center that's closed or something like that. We can get in there and treat while they're not occupying the building. But I mean, from time to time, I still do. I actually had a residential stop today, so it's not that I'm not ever out there. Yeah, but I would say the overwhelming majority, 85, maybe 95%, is commercial. Yeah.
I suppose the sites you do, when you make a recommendation with the sites that you do, it has to be acted on, otherwise they'll get into trouble. Is that right? They have to act on it. Is that correct? Yeah.
Especially like bees, because bees are very protected. Well, anything that's a stinging insect has to have a basic instantaneous response time.
Can you like, you just said protected. What do you mean by protected?
Bees?
Yeah. Bees? Yeah. What do you mean?
So some insects that are kind of given a beneficiary insect status, and not supposed to be eliminating them unless they're causing a direct harm to human health, right?
Yeah, no, it sounds good. I just wondered what you meant, because technically to protect bees, you'd have to stop selling honey.
No, it's honestly, it's funny too, because in the Houston area, at least, there's not a whole lot of fruit bearing or flower bearing plants. Most everything's just like shrub, pine trees. So things that are still
I presume you're talking about bee removal, somebody coming and taking the bees away. Yeah? Is that what you're...
Yeah.
Yeah, because we get calls for bees, and they're not protected in the UK, but it's frowned upon to kill bees, obviously, and there's a whole load of what you've got to do. There's a code of conduct and stuff, and not many people do that anymore, because it's obviously bees are important, and we've got a guy called Elliot who I recommended loads of work to him this summer, and he's done loads of bee work that I've recommended him. And then we just say now, we'll tell people, if you wasp nests, if
Yeah,
you
wasps
got to
are
be,
totally.
you've got to be sure there's a wasp nest. We write in now because we offer a free ID service where they can give us a video or picture. So if we turn up and they're adamant it's wasps, but it's bees, they've still got to pay the call-out price, even though we're doing no work. It's actually written in there. So if you mis-ID it, then that's on you. That is. We just charge them because it's a wasted journey, isn't it? But
right.
yeah, no, I just thought I'd ask you. That was all. Different countries are different
Yeah.
sorts of things.
I mean, when it comes to wasp, it's pretty free game. I mean, you got to watch that. Yeah, you those out. Yeah. But so from some of the content I've seen from our guys that are up in Michigan and up in the northern side of the states, they get these, I mean, massive, huge wasp nests. I mean, some of these things are, several feet, but we get mostly, small paper wasps hanging under the eaves or, a couple, 1 or 2 stories over mud daubers, things like that. It's pretty rare that we get the big giant, either ground nest or something, ground hornets. I've taken those out a couple times over my 10 years, but it's not a super common occurring thing, not here at least. Maybe out in the more rural.
Because wasp nests here can get anywhere from 50 to 5,000, but not seeing so many, not seeing so many on the big end in quite a while. I tell you what, years ago, I did a wasp nest, and I'll tell you now, I've never seen so many wasps. Obviously treated it years ago on top of a house. I had almost my gear on. I was frightened. I didn't show it, and it wasn't that when I hit it, the sky turned black. There was that many wasps coming out. It was. I thought, wow. But because they could say it can be anywhere from 1 to 5,000 roughly. It was, but I hit another one last year, and to be fair, when I hit that one, it wasn't the same. But I tell you what, it was the actual air above it was going. You know how to go. They go crazy. They do. But yeah, I'm not done many big ones. That's what I'm saying. I'm not done many where there's thousands. It don't happen very often. But most sensible. Yeah.
Do you guys ever get any like tawny crazy ants or any crazy ant activity or Argentine ants, like any super colony ants?
No, you can get you can get Argentine ants and obviously garden ants and pharaoh ants. I'll be honest, we never get much call for ants at all. We don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes usually inside because outside they're not really deemed a pest, and legally here there isn't really anything you could do. Like we can't go and do exterior sprays for ants. It's not allowed. It's not. It's like, and I know in America a lot of people are allowed to just spray in case they get ants or they see one ant, but you're not allowed. It's not a thing here. You have to actually have a problem. But I know. So even with your advice in your Discord must be hard because one person will say one thing and the rules will be different in a different state, won't it? Like, it will be.
Yep.
It's like having multiple different countries.
It's all over the place. Yeah. But that exposure is good. It gives you, you have to see how people overcome challenges with different tools.
Oh, yeah. And different perspectives.
Different perspectives. Exactly. So, I would always say, take the information, with a grain of salt that's what that person is saying that they would do, but it may be compliant in their state. You want to make sure that, it's compliant in your state or your country. Exactly. But it can give you a better understanding of maybe something you can try or, something you can look into the label for to see, a lot of people don't understand or don't know that there are products that you can use like with mopping, which is a really cool service, that if you're having a major issue. Yeah. You can use some products are labeled for mopping, which is, in a commercial kitchen that can really great service. Yeah.
Hey, it might. Well, I've not heard of that one. Maybe there is. Maybe it's not here. I don't know. I've never heard anyone say you mop it out. I've never heard that one. But you never know.
Yeah. Well, some of the ground gets so built up with caked up with grease and food debris and stuff like that. And so there's some products that you can use that help out with that, or embed in it and kind of turn it into a type of bait, if you will. And so, like, kitchens that are having really major issues with sanitation, you can go in and like gnats, like flies, like little Ford flies and stuff like that. It can be a great tool for those situations. Yeah. So, if you don't know, if someone never recommends it, then you don't look into the product, and you might find out that's something you can do, and it might be just the thing that helps out with saving the day.
No, it's definitely true. I mean, I'm not saying we haven't got it, just I've not heard of it here. Like recently, I had to ask people for advice. Now you'll laugh. A lot of the Americans do laugh. I've recently only just started our first ever cockroach job. We don't in the region I live in, we don't generally get them. See, in the cities next to us, we get them, but we don't get jobs there. You see, it's not really worth going deep in the city because you can get somebody else.
What kind of roaches? Like German roaches?
Yeah, Germans. But I think what happened is, I think these people lived in the city, and I think that they brought the cockroaches with them in their food boxes. That's the only explanation I can come up with.
Absolutely.
It's not known to have cockroaches. So I obviously asked people what to do. I knew what to do, but I thought you best ask people to do it day in, day out. And we use Avion cockroach gel. So that's what we used. It's got that's really so. In my area, most people, like just even the general public, the German roach is kind of synonymous with, the need for pest control, right? So it's really interesting to hear of another pest controller who's gone out, even a very long period of their career without having to actually do a job. So I love that. It's pretty crazy. I only started in pest control in 2020, so I'm not as experienced as you, but it's just the area.
But German roaches in our area is like a 3 times a week kind of job.
Like Jenny, Jenny off the Pestogen said to me, next time I get a big bed cockroach job, Sean, I'm going to send you a video of them raining on me. She was like, I've done hundreds and thousands of them. She says.
We got a buddy that uses an Actisol machine and always posts in the Discord. I mean, they're just running everywhere, dropping from the ceiling.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But no, it's I've done a few treatments. I think we're at the tail end of it now. I think it's about over. It is. Jay Robinson, thanks for commenting on LinkedIn. They have Germans and Orientals in London. London's a big city. But what you got to understand, Jay Robinson, I live in Rutland. We're a very rural area. So we don't generally have a call. I've got it on the website, don't get me wrong, but it's very rare anyone ever contacts us to do cockroaches. It's been a learning experience, let's just say that. It has. So it's good from that perspective, doing something new. It was. I had to ask a few people when we were doing it, what do you do? Just double checking what I learned from a course, because I know you can do the course, but when you're not done it in real life, you have to ask people, is this actually what you do? So it's not because you've never actually done it in practice. So you got to ask a few people, and they did, obviously.
Do you know Jorge Bedoya? Are you familiar with him on LinkedIn?
Jorge. I know George. I know George.
Yeah, George, Jorge. It's however you say it, whether you say it in English,
Yeah,
he is the best, man, when it comes to German roaches. Give that guy a call, man. Every time he is like one of the best contributors. He's so passionate about roach treatments, and dude, some of his. I've actually got a chance to listen to some of his course, and it is like chef's kiss, top tier.
He told me
information out there. I've taken a lot of them.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast. He said to me, his course is like 100 hours or more. He said, was it 150 hours? It was something like that. You reckon his course
some crazy one? He has a 30-hour course that's a little bit more realistic, but he's supposed to have a shorter, like 1.5 or 4 hour long course.
Maybe it was 30. I'm thinking of something else. Maybe it was 30. But yeah, he's been on. Yeah, that's the podcast. But yeah, no, he knows his stuff on bed bugs. He does.
Love that guy.
He revealed a few things about different laws in different states, and a lot of them require, if you have cockroaches, you legally have to do something called the landlord can get fined or whatever. And he said it's quite good business in certain places. It is. But he knows his stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with him. I wouldn't.
Nobody would like to argue. I'll tell you that. That's what we like to have little fun-spirited debates. He's a good debater. I'll put him on. My team of top-tier debaters. That's for certain.
Oh no, definitely. I've had him on. The podcast. So you know, a while ago. I can't remember when. I've had that many people on. Tell you what, it's miffing me though. In my phone, there is 21st of October. Right, the whole diary's booked until mid-December, and I don't know. But I don't know if I book someone. So you're listening to this, and I've booked you for the 21st of October. Drop me a DM with the screenshot of me booking you, because I've been racking my brains, and I do not know if I've booked somebody and just forgot who it is. I've been through my messages, through my phone, typed in 21st of October. Nothing's coming up. So if I've booked you, whoever you are, let me know with a screenshot that I've booked you, because it's annoying me. It is.
You gotta give yourself some grace a little bit, man. You definitely turned out a ton of podcasts. I mean, we booked ours, several months ago, and you remembered it very well. First off, so that was awesome. But you're running a business, you're doing all this. I mean, you got a weight loss journey that you're freaking dedicating a ton of time to. That's awesome.
It's only an hour or so on a Tuesday. Well, it's only an hour or so. Whatever it is, depending how long people can give, but it all depends on the conversation. But I enjoy it. People learn from it. I didn't actually think the podcast would do as well as it is, so I am surprised. But because I asked people,
how many hours does it take to edit for you after each episode? Are you pretty quick at editing?
Well, I don't do it.
You just don't do it? That's lucky. You have a good platform that has the names and all that. Yeah. I like that.
It's StreamYard. It's what Andrew Sanevsky uses on the Beauties and Beasties. It is.
Yeah.
Like 30 quid a month, 35 quid a month or something like that. It is. But no, I don't edit the podcast at all. It literally, I end it and I load it to Spotify. It goes everywhere then. So it's obviously going to stay on Facebook for a month. And it stays on YouTube, stays on LinkedIn. It goes to Apple Podcasts. Spotify, believe it or not, is the biggest platform for my podcast.
Yeah, I love Spotify. I love listening to podcasts on Spotify.
A few years ago, Apple were the big boys. If you do your research now, because Spotify spent so much money on investing in video podcasts and then exclusive podcasts, which you don't really do anymore, Joe Rogan go wherever. Actually, Spotify is now the biggest podcast provider out of all of them in numbers. And that takes a lot to beat Apple. It does.
Yep. It's a great. That's where most of our listeners come from. That's where I promote. Or
the analytics are really good now. The analytics have got really good on Spotify. On Facebook, they're rubbish. So Facebook, if you're listening, because they only want you to make reels. If I was to try and go and find my podcast in the video, you have YouTube and everything's there, you can see it. It's not on Facebook. It's a mess. Honestly, it's like they only want you to do reels, and that's it. So I tell most people, if you can't find it on Facebook, check YouTube, Spotify, and LinkedIn as well, because it's annoying. Facebook is. I don't care.
Well, I'm trying to stay 5 to 10 years ahead of the curve. I'm already on Discord.
Yeah.
Facebook, I'm sure it'll be around for a while, but I don't think that's where the bigger part of the community is going to stay. I mean, it's there now, but the platform is beginning to show its age, and like you said, they're focused on what they're focused on.
Don't get me wrong, my views do well on short form on Facebook, but Yeah, it's I'm not really that fussed. I mean, the podcast is doing well, and all that matters. We're never going to be in the millions because it's a pest control podcast. So,
right,
we are niche, but it still does quite well. I think it does.
Yes, I think you've done fantastic.
It's growing.
I've seen a ton of your content, and it gets around. A lot of people I know are very familiar with your show. So that is the nice thing. The industry is small, but so when you look up, pest control podcast, there's not, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them or whatever. There's really just not, and it's nice. And there's, most people know other people pretty well. If you've been in the networking space for a while, which I'm totally new to, which has been awesome. But it's definitely a tight knit group. But everybody's very welcoming. Everybody's very warm and willing to lend a hand and have a good conversation anytime you need them. So, I love that about our industry. It is pretty cool. But yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not looking for millions of views either. I don't think that would ever. I don't think it would ever even be a good thing to have a million views, to be honest.
I don't know. On my TikTok about don't block the hole with wasp nests, that got a good 212,000 views. That did.
Hey,
most of them were telling me I'm an idiot. You can't block the hole and the wasp nest will die. And a load of them were saying, yes, I did this, and they ate through the plastic. They chewed through the plasterboard. But he did well. He did. But that was from a business, Open Pest Control. That was. But I don't think it equated to any work. But it's still a video.
Yeah.
It is. But
if you're doing this to get work, I don't know if that's.
No.
No, you're not. But I'm just saying, I don't think that's there's probably no ROI for anything like that. This is definitely. That's why I love the podcasters. They're passionate. You're passionate. Jack and Brad are passionate. Jenny's passionate. Gabe and Andrew are passionate. Joan. Thing.
Are you there? Hello. Yeah, you're back. Hey,
sorry about that. Yeah, I got interrupted there.
Yeah, sorry, Jack and Brad and Jenny and Candice, and Andrew and Gabe, they're all passionate. Really good podcasts they are. And yours, obviously, it's really good. See if we can get some more out soon.
Yep. Yeah, I do. I'll hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to try and capture some content while we're at Pest World. So I'm attending Pest World for the very first time. Probably be one of the handful of technicians that are out there. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I heard there's thousands and thousands of people. So it's the biggest thing in our industry. So I'm super excited, looking forward to it. So there, fingers crossed there'll be a decent influx of activity at that time. And I'm really looking to capture, some people on the floor, maybe some new cool inventions that are out there, some new products, maybe some new tools that would be great for the PMPs out there. And so, we'll be getting around, but yeah, hopefully in the near future, a small little burst of content will be coming.
Good. But I'll tell you one thing I've noticed. I know I can get people on the podcast. And there he is. We talk of him, and he shows up. Hello, Andrew. There he is.
Hey,
he appears. But one thing I know in the UK, I don't obviously know on your side, but the chemical companies are not really interested on coming on podcasts. They don't want to have their people talking about basically on anyone's podcast. I've asked Chaz, and he says he'll come on.
Yeah.
But he says I don't understand the registration process and whatnot. But he said I would love to come on. He says, so I'm going to change this question from Jay Robertson, but equally catch it in. Do you have an equivalent of the British Pest Control Association, right? Or the National Pest Technicians Association, like trade bodies, which I know the answer to. You do, don't you?
Yeah. So we have city level, state level, and national level associations for the pest controllers. There you go.
Yeah, because
some of the smaller local ones, I believe, if you get a membership with them, you automatically get a membership with the NPMA, which is also really nice too, because content from both.
If you want it explaining, Jay, go and find the episode with Andrew Sinevsky on Best Perspectives. I'm pretty sure we talk about the trade bodies in America, and he explains it. I'm pretty sure he does, because he's high up in the trade body world. He is. He's I can't think offhand what he. Yeah, he's quite high up. Anyway, I can't remember what his role is offhand. I can't. So I'm in a trade body too. I'm a board director for the National Pest Technicians Association. I am.
Holy cow.
So I thought you knew that.
Mm-mm.
No, I joined in.
I need to do a better job of getting to know all the various different titled members. I try, repost the board members and stuff like that, but I do need to do. That's one of the things I'm looking to sit in on some of the meetings, the leadership meeting, not the leadership meetings, but like they have the meetings that are open to the public, and just getting to see who's actually on the various different boards and who's in the various different positions. It'd be nice to know who they are. They represent everything that we do in our industry. I work out in the field out here. It'd be nice to see who's out there fighting for us and on Capitol Hill and on legislation day and all that other stuff. They have our back, so we should have their back.
Well, yeah, I'm actually on the board of it, the National Pest Technicians Association. I'm actually, I'll rephrase this. Jasmine, if you're listening, you are the youngest on the board, Emerson, from Opticatch. However, I am the youngest board member that is actually a pest controller. There.
Oh.
He's younger than me, but I'm the youngest pest controller on the board.
That's awesome.
On the actual board of directors, but they've now got some committees, so I'll have to look through. There's probably someone younger on the committee somewhere. There is, but
that is incredible.
But I never thought I'd get it. But there we go. I tried and it worked. And Jay Robertson says we get ghost ants, pharaoh ants, big-headed ants, crazy ants in south.
So y'all do get crazy ants.
So you must do.
See, we get tawny crazy ants, and they're like, wow, it's incredible when you see a house that's being attacked by tawny crazy ants. They get pheromone locked around the foundation, and they just circle and circle and circle it until they die, and then it just causes more stress pheromones. And they just, I've walked up on a house sometimes before, and your feet are kicking what looks like little pieces of like dirt or granules or something like that, and it's just millions of dead ants. That extends out, several feet from the foundation. And there's some radio towers, they're super high voltage, that we have to go out and treat for crazy ants, because they'll actually jam themselves into electrical components and outlets and stuff, like there's like transformers and stuff, to the point where they'll like bridge it and they'll arc and they'll short out all kinds of expensive electrical equipment and all. So you have to do something about it. Yeah. So it's
we do. I'm not
a fun test to come across.
Yeah, I'm not always the best judge of what we've got in this country, because I don't. To be honest, most of our work throughout the year, apart from wasp season, is rats, mice, and moles, and some squirrels. We do insect work, but we don't get a lot of it compared to obviously Jay in the chat. He gets a lot of it by the sounds of it. But we get the odd ant job here and there. It's not very often we get many ants. We don't. Wow. But I imagine in London they get everything. They will.
That's really cool.
It is.
Yeah, I've talked to some guys up in Washington, and rodents and wildlife are definitely the primary focus, whereas the insects are kind of in the background. We're a little bit of both. I would say wildlife is pretty common, rodents are pretty common, but the pest pressures are significant enough here that they still take that that primary. I mean, that's where our, if I do 10 tickets a day, I would say 9 out of them are insect related.
No, not me. Don't get me wrong. I would love to do more insect work. It's just we don't. Either we're the wrong price or we're not cheap enough. But it depends what you want to pay, doesn't it? I don't know if that's it, or whether someone else is doing it for next to nothing. I don't know. It just, we never seem to get loads and loads of insect work. We get loads of wasp nests in the summers. We've done quite not bad this year. I wouldn't say it was a record year for wasps though, but it was better than last year. We did 160 nests last year total, so this year's a lot better, hundreds more. But yeah, it's we do have loads of insects. We don't have as many bugs as you do in America. You lot have really scary stuff as well.
At least it's not China or Australia. I've heard it's a little bit wilder over there.
Yeah, I've heard Australia. Yeah, but yeah.
We just have, it's just general household stuff. Well, hey, Sean. Andrew just popped up and said, "Is Pest World really ready for LTK?" We'll find out. Hopefully, they're excited for what we come to bring. That's all I can do is put it out there, and hopefully people are receptive. But man, thank you so much for your time. I am hitting my hour lunch break, so I do need to finish up my route for the rest of the day.
Yeah,
get out there and service those folks. But it has been an absolute privilege.
It's been great. Do you want to promote your podcast quickly? I'll drop the links in the description. I will.
Yeah. Tune into the License to Kill podcast. We interview PMPs, we interview entomologists, and just people in the career field and industry in general. We like to kind of put a spotlight on the superheroes or people who have done a bit of contribution, maybe an unsung hero out there, and just cool articles and stuff like that. Anything that's pop culture related to pest control, we kind of cover a bit of that stuff. Check out the Discord if you've never been on the platform. I highly encourage you to download the app, break out of your shell, do something new, do something kind of exciting, check out what all the buzz is about. I'll be out there at Pest World handing out cards with QR codes on them that should point you in the right direction. So again, Sean, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I'm privileged to have a conversation with you. It's been a blast. And thank you. It's been on our calendar for quite a while, so I hope I get the chance to come back again.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Thank you just for doing everything that you are on the British Pest Control Association board and stuff that you're doing for your industry. Yeah,
National Pest Technicians Association. That's what I'm
National Pest Tech Association. My apologies. Everybody has their different acronyms, but I know you're out there and you're doing your best.
But you're rocking it too. You're rocking it too. You're doing good. I just try and do stuff. But anyway,
well, that's it. It's up to us. It's the next generation of people who can, carry the mantle.
Definitely. But thanks for giving up some of your dinner break to come on, and I'll drop you a message soon. All right, then. There we go. All right, thanks, mate. Right, then. Cheers. See ya.
Cheers.